Good morning and welcome to June 19th. Whenever this video finds you is the right time for you. I want to talk to you about a grounding meditation that you can use to de-stress during anytime you are feeling an emotional response to an event that or a situation that you cannot control, meaning this is the parable of the two arrows. The Buddha told the story to his disciple. When you get hit by an arrow, does that hurt? And the disciple said, yes. And then he asked, when you get hit by a second arrow, does that hurt even more? And the disciple said, yes, Buddha, it does. And the Buddha said, well, what if I told you you cannot control the first arrow, but you can control the second? And the disciple said, how, Buddha? Well, the first arrow is what happens to you that is outside of your control. The second is how you respond to it, your thoughts, your response to it, your reaction to it. So use a mundane example. You're rushing to catch the bus and you miss the bus. This is something that happens to you. That's that first arrow. Now comes that second arrow. How do you react? If you react this way, an example, instead of responding, if you react and say, oh man, if I had just planned that better, if I didn't stay up late the night before, if I had just been more careful, I'm just such an idiot, I'm just such a loser. So you see the spiraling and the de-evolution from missing the bus, so the first arrow, to the reaction of I'm a loser. Do we quickly sometimes spiral to this? Well, that's that second arrow. That hurts more than the first. The first arrow is bad enough. I missed the bus. Well, let's try a different response rather than reaction. I missed the bus. Boom. Well, I look at the schedule. I ask someone, oh, there's another one coming for 15 minutes. And there's a coffee shop that gives me time to get a cup of coffee before the next one comes. Wow. Yeah, I'll be late to work, but I've got a cup of coffee. I've got a muffin now. I mean, this is great. You know, it's not the best situation, but I can't control that first arrow, but now I control the second arrow. I saw the second arrow coming. I saw my normal negative response to it. Oh, geez, I'm a loser. Instead, I respond to, you know, what time's the next one coming? 15 minutes? Wow, that gives you enough time to get a cup of coffee. Do you want one? I get a cup of coffee and then I'm energized. I've got jazz in my step. I'm going forward with that. So getting used to that idea of the first arrow I can't control, the second arrow I can. What can I control? Well, I control my response or reaction. You can't control your thoughts, but you can control your response or reaction. Think of all the scenarios where the two arrows make sense. That first arrow comes in, it's a wounding. Wow, that hurt. Someone does something to you. Wow, you can't control what they do, so what is your response to it? Wow, I wish they didn't do that. However, they must have their reasons. I hope they're going to be okay. I wish them the best. A response instead of reaction. A reaction might be instead unconscious and could send you into a swirling downward spiral. You see that? Two arrows. The first one comes, you can't control. The Buddha says that second arrow, you can see it coming. Start to notice things like that. Notice that second arrow coming. What's another thing you can do? Well, you can employ a de-stressing technique. You see the first arrow coming. Well, I don't want a downward spiral. So instead, I'm going to take a breath in to the count of 4. I'm going to hold to the count of 4. I'm going to release the count of 4. Now you might also employ, if you have a lot of negative thoughts coming in, you don't try to control your thoughts. Rather just watch them. Get used to how your mind works. Especially if you're beginning in any kind of breathing or meditation technique, make sure you have a comfortable chair you're sitting on with your feet firmly planted on the floor. If you're out in the public, you're doing this breathing exercise, that's a different matter. But if you're just doing a meditation practice with this breathing exercise, make sure your tongue is at the tip of your mouth. The tip of your tongue is touching your 2 front teeth. You might say a mantra like, Divine Source, please replace all negative thoughts with your love and light. Breathing in to the count of 4, holding to the count of 4, releasing to the count of 4. When you're meditating, your goal is not to control your thoughts, but rather to notice your thoughts, to observe how your mind works. There are a lot of competing forces that don't want you sitting still in meditation. Your ego mind wants you in action mode, but if you're sitting down, they'll send even more thoughts seem to generate. Well, that's normal. Let those thoughts drift by like clouds in a clear blue sky. Notice that the thoughts will come, the thoughts will go, but just let them go. Let them drift on by. Watch them drift by like clouds in a clear blue sky. The clear blue sky is your true nature. It's there and it's not blemished by those clouds. The clouds are just your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. Identifying with your thoughts as if it is you is what creates a lot of chaos in the world. So response, that first arrow comes in, wow. Start to notice those thoughts coming. The second arrow is starting to come. I don't want to spiral. Instead, let me respond by taking a breath in. Instead of responding straight away, you're training your mind. So take those breaths instead. Don't seek out an answer straight away. Just simply breathe, breathe. Notice your breath. Count into the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. Release to the count of 4. All right, to recap, we're talking about the parable of the 2 arrows. It's a very helpful react or response training methodology. Can be used anywhere you notice a first arrow coming in. First arrows happen all the time. There are people in your life who might specifically try to wound you and get you to react. Instead, you're going to employ a de-stressing breath technique where you take a breath in to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, release to the count of 4. So that you're better prepared to respond to that second arrow as it starts to come. Whoa, there goes my mind again. I've noticed it now. I'm not going to spiral down into blaming myself. I'm going to instead going to respond. I'm going to breathe first, but I will respond. I've missed the bus. Oh boy. When's the next one coming? 15 minutes? That gives you enough time to get a cup of coffee and a almond croissant. Thank you. I hope this made sense. I hope this helps you. May you be happy. May you be well. May you feel safe and secure.